My name is Franco Costantin. I'm responsible for the regenagri initiative globally, based in London, and I will give you some updates on regenagri, as well as I will explain how the initiative, how the program works. Let me start with sharing the presentation. You should see it now. Put in presentation mode. Bear with me. Okay, so the agenda. I will give you an overview of regenagri, an overview in terms of how the initiative is set up, structure, different components. Then I'm going to give you an update on the new standards which have been launched a couple of months ago, as well as the new regenagri platform. I will give a snapshot of where we are globally in terms of farms, projects, as well as uptake by the supply chain, and then we follow with the demo of the regenagri platform, a demo which will be given by my colleague Annie. We aim at finishing this piece in about 40 minutes, and then we'll have some time for questions if there are questions. I hope you will have some questions that we can discuss further the last part of the webinar. Anyway, let's go to the background of regenagri. Of course, there is the reasons why we speak about regenerative agriculture is because we want to tackle the issue of soil losing nutrients. We want to tackle the issues of climate, so reversing the trend of climate change. We want to tackle the issue of biodiversity. So there are many different reasons why we speak of regenerative agriculture, and all these things are interconnected. Of course, they're linked one another. So it's quite I would say it's quite a complex environment, quite a complex ecosystem, and is where regenagri operates. So regenagri is a regenerative agriculture initiative aimed at securing the health of the land and the wealth of those who live on it. From the headline here, you see that regenagri has a strong mission of let's say helping securing the health of the land, so improving soil health. But it's also an initiative trying to make sure that this transition, the adoption of regenerative system comes with additional value for whoever is living on those farms. So making sure that there is a benefit for the parties involved, and making sure that this transition to regenerative system is also viable and also sustainable in the long term. Regenagri has been set up 3 years ago, so has been operating and has been implemented since 2020, early 2020. So it's basically the first year of the initiative was to fine-tune the standard, to find the right setup in terms of standards, as well as setup in terms of structure for the users of these initiatives, so farms and chain of custody as well. It is made, of course, to support farms and organizations to transition to holistic farming techniques. So those farming systems that are aimed at increasing soil health, at increasing biodiversity, at reducing emissions and sequestering more CO2, and that, of course, aimed at improving water quality and energy management. These are very, very high-level pillars, of course. Within each of those blocks, we have a set of data, a set of indicators that within regenagri we assess, we measure, and we report. We report in order to tell the organizations where they are in terms of overall regenerative level, but also how they are doing for each of those criteria that we assess. I will go down. I will go in more details in a bit. So the structure of regenagri is also pretty straightforward, I would say. We have the program part, so the standards and methodologies. Standards and methodologies are basically the set of documents, the set of guidelines, the set of requirements which are used to assess farms, to certify farms, and to report on the outcome from those projects. So we have the key standards here are the regenagri standard criteria and the regenagri assessment methodology, and the regenagri carbon standards. These standards are for farms at the farm level, and then we have other standards which are looking after the chain of custody, so basically standards assuring the integrity of the materials from farms to finished products. And so the standard criteria are a set of criteria that are used to assess and measure regenerative activities. The methodology is the document telling how to apply the criteria. And the regenagri carbon standard is used when regenagri carbon credits are the goal, the objective of the project. So and the carbon project can be part of it, can be done separately, can be done can be not necessary, but it's there when carbon verifications carbon credits are required. The second piece of the initiative is the digital hub. The regenagri digital hub is the set of tools and applications used to measure, to assess, to track progress and improvement over time, and also a set of tools allowing the structuring, the setup of the projects. They may be projects with individual farms, projects with smallholders. It can be a combination. So the platforms where, in terms of data management, data acquisition, and measurements, is where everything, all the data are handled. The third piece of the initiative is related to services, and here we are, I would say, pretty flexible. I mean, there can be several services required. Certifications, of course, is one of them. Certifications means that approved as auditor or certification bodies assess projects, assess farms against the standard criteria, and if they are meeting the requirements of the program, they issue these certificates. Certificates again are for farms, but also for the chain of custody, for the supply chain. Other services are technical advisory, can be trainings. It really depends on the needs of the organization. When we speak of third-party certifications, of course, that stream of activity cannot be mixed with other activities such as technical advisory consultancy. But in terms of the regenagri as a framework, as a platform, we allow this organization to have access to all of those, basically. So we go here again. I mentioned a bit about the certifications and verifications. It's for farms, and as I said earlier, we use the regenagri standard criteria and the regenagri methodology for assessment of farms, and then the regenagri carbon standard for carbon credits projects. For the chain of custody, there is the regenagri content standard. Again, it's a standard adopting the same principles of traceability, segregation that are used widely also under other textile schemes. Again, support services and the regenagri platform I already mentioned are always part of the proposition here. And on the right, you see the logo used for claiming regenagri certification. Under the logo, we have other additional specifications such as certification number and the name of the certification body. In this case, control union. So I at the beginning I mentioned that we launched the new standard and the new platform. Here are some key information. This webinar is intended to give you a good understanding of the principles and the approach of regenagri. If you have any more specific questions about the methodology and the standards, please get in touch after the webinar. So again, standard is including the 30 items, 30 criteria. They cover, I would say, the full spectrum of indicators that one might expect to be checked when a regenerative profile, a regenerative assessment is needed. So again, going from water quality, water management, pollution to farming practices such as rotations, cover cropping, tillage, of course. Then things which are more related to conservation or like buffer strips, hedgerows, conservation area. Then, of course, soil management, fertilizers, crop protections, and biodiversity. So it's a full spectrum of criteria that we assess. And what we do after we assess is to give a result in terms of how this farm how this group of farms is doing for each of those criteria. So of course, we take the data, we assess this data, we assess this information. Of course, we if it's part of certification, we make sure that all the supporting records, supporting documents are there as well. And as a result, we give an indication or a result on how this farm is doing for each of those criteria. And all of these individual criteria are put together to give the let's call it the regenagri score. So the regenagri score is an indication, is a measure of the regenerative level of the whole farm. Each farm, as you know, can be managed in different ways. Some farms are basically are able to do very well at certain things, so the farms are able to do very well at others, but they find challenges in other aspects. So all the bits and pieces of the criteria are put together, but the most important thing is to see how you perform in terms of regeneration overall, and also you need to have a granular information on where you need to start making improvements. So this result is this regenagri full profile is providing this insights. Another important thing of the way regenagri is doing this work is the assessments are contextualized. So the methodology is basically the document saying how this farm must be assessed based on the farm's conditions, maybe climate region where the farm is, if it's in a temperate, in an arid, or in a tropical area, and so on, which type of soil is there, and as well as other say other conditions which are triggering this contextualization. And another important thing is that the regenagri program works with implement this continuous improvement approach, and the continuous improvement approach is embedded into the standard, is embedded into the methodology, is embedded into the platform. So basically, whatever you do with regenagri, it can be a certification, it can be also a project not needing certification, but using regenagri as the consistent framework in order to drive towards these objectives. Everything is based on this continuous improvement approach. So farms can start at any level. We start with a baseline, and then the objective is to start working on for the farms to start working on improvements over time. As you know very well, regenerative transition is something that is a long-term commitment. Nobody expects drastic improvement or drastic changes within 1 year. So it's looking at how the farm can start moving things, start making improvements in order to report, to see improvements over time. The 65% here on this page is basically a threshold to achieve a certification. So if a farm achieves this 60%, then the farm can be certified regenagri and can start selling regenagri certified cotton to the supply chain. If the farm is below that level, of course, cannot claim a regenagri certification, but the farm is still within the regenagri program. So basically, periodically, the assessments are done, development plans are made, and there will be a point, hopefully, when the farm is able to start to enter the certification. So starting with certification, of course, every year there is a marginal improvement to be reported, and this is what is pushing in terms of making progress. There is also an update on the we go now to the content standard, and that's the standard used for the chain of custody. There has been also an update recently. Again, if you want more information, there is a standard available online. But well, the key updates have been that the minimum content for regenagri in order to claim regenagri certification is 50%. There is a new update in terms of blending of regenagri fibers with non-regenagri fibers. And few other things which you see here. So some updates in regards to the synthetics use and so on. Platform. as I said earlier, has been also updated to be in line with the new standard for farms. Annie will go through the demo, but anyway, the new platform is there to make it, I would say, to facilitate this assessment, facilitate the data analysis, and also allowing a better way to structure the project and also to measure the progress that the farms are making over time. So for each of the indicators, what is the improvement over a certain period of time, or even what is the difference between different farms under the project, to see basically where improvements can be made. Quick snapshot on the global uptake of regenagri. This webinar is focused on, in this case, is focused on fibers. As you know, regenagri covers food, feed, and fibers, so basically anything. Cotton fibers are at this stage, in terms of volumes, are the leading type of operation, the leading crop. We have also a mix of other crops, such as coffee. Coffee is growing very nicely as well. Sugarcane, again, growing, especially in Asia. And then a mix of other crops or fruits like mango, palm, soy, wheat. Globally, under the regenerative program, we have around 1.2 million acres of land, approximately 50,000 farmers, including smallholders, especially in Asia. And in terms of regions, is very, I would say, it's global. Is implemented in all the key regions for cotton, so Asia, Brazil, Turkey, USA, Central Asia, and Europe, Australia as well. We are starting with some projects in Australia, so it's provides a very good coverage, which means also uptakers, brands, or traders are able to prepare to adopt regenagri, considering that there are multiple options of source of origin of source, so they can manage their sourcing in an easier way. And who are the users of regenagri as the program? Of course, farms. They may be large agribusinesses, as well as smallholders group. We have multiple groups of farms in India, for example, each of them from 2,000 to 10,000 farms. Then we have middle sizes, let's say in Europe, Turkey, USA, and then we have big farms in South America. The program is able to manage to handle any size of farms. The platform as well is structured in such a way that we can assess, we can handle smallholder individual farms and medium size as well. And in terms of supply chains, we have there is a growing adoption of regenagri, especially a growing number of brands which are choosing regenagri as the preferred fiber when we speak of regenerative agriculture. Regenerative agriculture and of course carbon, greenhouse gases, and so on. And the supply chain, meaning of course from ginning to manufacturers, are also adopting regenagri. We have a growing number of facilities which are certified regenagri. Traders as well are are certified, and few others are going for certifications. So some of them are ICOM, Otto, and other global traders are in process as well. Some key points that I want to highlight is regenagri is providing a complete solution. By complete solution, we mean a set of standards, the platform, and support service around. Scalability is one of the key priorities for regenagri. Together with this continuous improvement approach, also scalability is embedded into the structure of regenagri. The reason is that if we want to help stakeholders in achieving all those very ambitious targets in terms of net zero, in terms of regeneration, then of course we do need a sizable material scale. Otherwise, we'll not be able to achieve those goals if we are basically stuck to a kind of small piloting approach. Outcome oriented again. regenagri is linking practice with outcomes. So measuring progress over time is one of the key priorities for regenagri, and the whole system is able to link practice with the outcomes that this practice are generating, which gives a very valuable insight to organizations. Again, of course, strong standards methodologies should be there in order to support scalability, in order to support the rigor of data. regenagri allows or comes also whenever needed with third-party assessment or certifications. These third-party assessments are making sure or allowing clients to make sustainability claims across the multiple indicators that we audit. So it can be regarding water, it can be regarding carbon, it can be regarding how many trees, how much more conservation has been added in those projects. So it can be really anything coming from a regenagri assessment can be used for claims. And then we have carbon credits projects as well. That's very important. This can be kind of an offsetting type of approach. The point is that all data are there. All data needed for those carbon projects are coming from a regenagri, so they are available. And when these carbon projects are needed, then for whoever is inside regenagri already, the process will be relatively straightforward or basically linear than starting the process from scratch with data baseline acquisition and so on. In regards to the certification process, maybe most of you already know the typical process of certification, and this is following more or less the same approach. We start with an application sent to control union or to regenagri directly. We do the assessment and the audit on site. Before doing the audit, just to verify, there is some preparation to be done between the auditor and the farms, if it's a farm certification. Preparation means, of course, the farms will need to be informed on what we are going to assess, which type of documents are needed, and so on. We do the assessment on site. We complete assessment after the audit. If there are any pending supporting documents, for example. Then we run the results and we see let's say the full profile of the farm, and we see the results in terms of scoring as well. If there is a 60% of score at least, then we issue a certificate. And if it's an existing project of all, we need to look at the marginal improvement. So we need to check if this farm that year has achieved this required improvement necessary to continue the certification. I think that's all. This is a snapshot of the picture on how the certification works for textiles. The whole structure is mostly similar to what you are used to. So there is a farm level certification on your left. Farms certified regenagri are able to sell seed cotton to the jeans. This seed cotton is accompanied with the farm transaction certificates going to the gene, and then from the ginning process downstream, each entity must be certified. Of course, must have a scope certificate, and whenever there is a sale or a shipment of regenagri certified goods, those shipments must be covered or approved by transaction certificates. Transaction certificates again are issued by control union, and the process there is quite similar to what you're used to. Sorry, bear with me a second. Do you see still the screen? Yes. Okay. Okay. So brands do not need to be certified. That's a common question. We certify up to the manufacturer, and I would say that's all from my side. I'm not sure, Annie, do you want to have any? Do you want to start with your presentation of farms? Oh, sorry, of presentation of the demo.
Yeah, sure. I'll just share my screen.
Let me close mine.
Cool. So hopefully you can see this. So I'm just going to give a quick overview of the platform and some of its functionalities. So when you log in through our website, you get taken to this page, which is where you can see a list of your existing assessments. The platform's structured in a way that it allows for the management of either individual farms or group farms. It's structured to handle both, so the right structure will be implemented basically depending on what you want to see. And similarly, the results shown can be either farm or group specific. So here you see your list of existing assessments. This is just a demo account that we use. And then to start a new assessment, you simply hit the Start a New Assessment button. So I'll give a quick overview of what an assessment looks like, just to give an idea of the sort of data that we collect. So you start off on the profile information page, which is just general overview about the farm. So starting off with the type of farm, and this question here sort of dictates what you will see throughout the assessment. So for example, if you select that livestock is present, you will then see our livestock page. If you don't select that livestock is present, you won't see the page and you won't be scored against the standard criteria related to livestock. So yeah, you have type of farm, operation type, then location, land areas, and the climate of the area that the farm's in, soil type and certification schemes. We then move on to the next page, which is farm management practices. And these are practices done at farm level. So perennial cropping, crop protection strategies, conservation of natural area, grasslands, trees, hedgerows, and pollution prevention. And as Franco mentioned earlier, it's practice-based and outcome-based questions. So in plastic, you can see an example of that. So we ask for the presence of an action plan, which is the practice, and then the presence of a verified reduction, which would be verified by an auditor during the audit on farm. And that's where you see the outcome-based questions sort of dotted throughout the assessment. Then the next page, we go on to field and crops. So after farm level, we then have field level questions, which is related to sort of field management. So cover cropping, crop rotations, tillage, intercropping, synthetic crop protection products. And then we go on to the crop level questions. So you can add multiple fields and then multiple crops onto those fields. So you select your crop type, and then the data associated to those crops, so planting, harvesting, quantities and times, and then fertilizers specific to that crop and crop protection products specific as well. After that, we have a soil testing section, and a place that you can put soil analysis results on as well. Following that is then the livestock page, which, as I mentioned, is only shown if it's applicable, and this looks at animal welfare, so relating to grazing management and animal health and feeding practices. Then we have the water management page, so water sources and quantity used, irrigation, if applicable, and watercourse management, if applicable. So if there's water course on farm, we look at buffer zones surrounding it. The next page is then energy, so renewable energy usage, and then non-renewable energy usage, field operations, and transport of products both on and off farm. And then the final page is biodiversity. So we ask for the practices done to improve biodiversity, which again, we ask for practices and then outcomes to be present. And then the final one is community schemes. So it's just a tick box of schemes or initiatives that are being done to improve social well-being. So once you've completed your assessment, you would hit end assessment. And you'd be taken to the results page, which looks like this. So you have the name of the farm and then a summary of the KPIs. So you have land areas, water usage, synthetic input usage, energy usage, and then your carbon footprint as well. And here you get given your percentage, which is the regenagri score, which is sort of an indication or measure of the regenerative level of the farm. And then following that, you get a breakdown of sort of how that score is being given. So each of the standard criteria points that your farm's been assessed against is shown here. So these include cover cropping, tillage, crop rotation, intercropping, perennial cropping, afforestation. Then we have 4 on chemical usage, soil sampling. Then we go into the livestock section, which is the rotational grazing, grazing density, grazing period, multi-species livestock integration, grasslands, and then animal feed. And then following that, we have biodiversity, buffer zones, hedgerows and windbreaks, conservation of natural areas, community engagement, rainwater harvesting, irrigation practices, pollution prevention, and then renewable energy. And at the end of that, we have the synergy points section, which may or may not come up, depending on if you've been awarded it. And this is basically points awarded for combining practices. So, for example, livestock being grazed in areas for crop production. So then that's the end of the regenagri scorecard, and after that you get your carbon footprint. So again, you see sort of a summary. So the emissions, total emissions per area per product, your soil organic carbon percentage, and then machinery fuel usage. And then after that, a breakdown of the carbon footprint. So the key things contributing to that. So fertilizer usage, energy usage, irrigation, management changes, pesticide, processing, residue, soil storage, transport and wastewater. And then after that, you can get a breakdown of that per field as well. So the first one is the whole farm, and then you get the per field one. So a further functionality to show is the ability to track your changes over time. So here I've selected three different assessments. So it's the same farm across 3 different years. So 2019, 2020 and 2021. Then you can compare them. So you get taken to this page. But in our next round of development, we're aiming to improve it. So it'll look more like this. So you'll see the change in your score over the 3 different assessments. And again, the change in the greenhouse gas emissions, so your carbon footprint over the 3 assessments. And then that's sort of summed up in words just on the right here. And then after that summary at the top, you then get a breakdown of it per sort of standard criteria point again. So you can see how the points have changed over the 3 years. Then actual, so for example here, this is looking at crop protection products. So you can see how the usage per hectare has changed across the 3 years. And then you get that summed up at the side. So I think that's everything that I have to show. It's just a very quick overview of our platform. So I'll hand back over to Franco now.
Thank you, Annie. Thanks.
No worries.
So do we have any question? I think so, right? I see some here.
We do, yes. So the first question we had was somebody wanting clarification on certifications. Is it possible to make product claims or general claims on a regenagri certified material in a product without the brand and tier 1 supplier being certified?
Yes, I mean general claims are possible. They must be signed off, approved by the certification body, in this case, Control Union. For general claims, we mean say commitment claims, claims regarding sourcing of regenagri fibers. So they are possible even if the organization is not certified. If the organization itself is not already certified regenagri, we do have some. We do have claims criteria, principles that we can share just to give guidance on which are typical claims which we approve. In terms of products claims, for products claim, again, we mean products claims concerning products certified. So claims which may be on products or maybe also related to products. For example, claims made on let's say digital material on the website and so on. In those cases, of course, the products to be claimed must be certified, obviously. And now the question, I'm sure the question that has been asked is, what happens if a brand wants to make products claims, but the direct supplier, the manufacturer, is not yet certified? But of course, the tier 2 is certified, of course. In this case, it really depends on the process of certification of the direct suppliers, of the finished product manufacturer. If this supplier is already going through the process but has not been completed, then we have an option of doing a one-off, let's call it traceability verification audit, which is basically closing the gap between completion of the certification and the needs of the brands to claim. So we have some ways, some procedures to allow this, but typically speaking, again, products products must be certified in order to be claimed as certified. And for brands, usually the standard requirement is that the supplier of those products must be certified as well. General claims are always possible, but need to be approved by the certification body.
Thank you. And a question here: can regenagri certified textiles be mixed with non-certified textiles to a volume, a proportion of 50%?
Yes, we can. The maximum blend is say 50%. So regenagri fibers can be mixed with non-regenagri certified fibers in order for the product to be certified. Yes, that's possible. That's part of the latest update of the standard.
Thank you. And is using the logo on the final product mandatory like it is for GOTS?
No, it's not mandatory. It's not mandatory. So
Did you hear that question, Franco?
Yes, I have it. Yes. So if the company is certified but is not well, they want to make claims, then we don't have this requirement in place. So there is no absolute need of making claims on products.
Fantastic. And we have somebody here who has their textile spinning and weaving unit certified with regenagri. Can they use the logo in their marketing?
Yes, yeah. If they are certified, yes, they can do it. Yeah.
And is it possible for farmers who are organic but are using regenerative approaches as well? Can they get certification under regenagri?
Yes, we have actually we have a good number of projects with farms that are organic certified, so NOP, for example, and they are also they are coming to regenagri because they want to make claims related to regenerative agriculture. So as you know, organic is a piece of it. And of course, if the farm wants to implement a regenagri program, they absolutely they can also start the process with regenagri in addition of being organic.
Thank you. And who does somebody contact for the chain of custody standard?
You mean contacts? Well,
within regenagri.
Well, we have the main email address is info@regenagri.org. Yes, so that's the key email address to remember if you have any questions about regenagri.
Fantastic, thank you. And as a trader, to certified final products, will we be able to use the regenagri platform?
As a trader, so the question is if the trader has projects with farms, so basically the trader is the adopter of regenagri, and in the regenagri projects they have farms, then of course the trader will be in the platform because the trader is in that case will be owning the project of the farms. If the trader is just a trader, so with no farms projects, then they can be in the platform for sure. I guess the question is, how can a trader get data from the farms, right? So in this case, when there are no farms projects, the trader or the brand or any company can be in the platform, and their partners the farm partners should should authorize in the platform the sharing of data with those organizations. So when the farms share their data, their information with those organization, in this case a trader, and then the trader will have a full overview of what's happening at farm level. So they also get access to the progress measurement coming from the farms.
Thank you. There's a further question regarding the mixing of regenagri certified fibres with other fibres. Can a product be considered regenagri certified if regenagri certified products are mixed with synthetic fibres, so that the final textile actually can't be recycled?
We have blending with non-certified natural fibers, of course, maximum 50%. It's possible in order for a product to be certified. When we speak of synthetic fibers, then I would go to the standard, to the new standard, so the version 2, and there you will find some more specific information, what is possible, what is not possible with synthetic fibers. For example, for polyester, we need polyester to be recycled. Other synthetic fibers may not need to be recycled, but again, please, for synthetic, please check the standard to get a bit more clarity.
Great. And just time for one more question. This one was submitted in advance. As of the end of last year, how many hectares of cotton farmland and in which countries were certified under regenagri?
Under the regenagri program, approximately 1.2 million acres. So, and the regions now, it's on top of my head, I would say. I'm including here also farms where, not for cotton, so farms which are, they are a minority, but farms that are not producing cotton. I would say it's 60% Asia. Asia is, it could be India, Malaysia, Indonesia, and then 40% is spread over USA, South America, Europe. So I would say 20% South America, 10% USA, and 10% Europe.
Fantastic, thank you. There are a few more questions which we haven't had time to get to because we need to wrap up now, but any other questions, please do feel to email them over to that email address, info@regenagri.org, which I have put into the chat. We will be sharing both the slides and the recording of this presentation as well with you after the webinar is over.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Talk to you soon. Bye.